How's it going, guys? So here we have our quarterfinal match between Travis and Fernando. Travis Nunlist versus Fernando Santacruz. This is the quarterfinals of the Bakersfield League Cup this past weekend. We have Travis that's running Toad Zoroark, and Fernando that's also running Toad Zoroark. So yeah. So we're gonna get into this match and just start talking about what they're playing. So we see that Travis opens up a Sudowoodo. He's playing that Rock Guard, which is very interesting. Lots of people are not running that, but he decided to bring it to this tournament, which I think it won him a good amount of his matches. For those of you that don't know, when the Pokemon that this is attached to is attacked, you put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon, which is really good because it kind of lets you stall your opponent or put enough damage on your opponent that he'll end up hurting himself. So we do see that he did play Hypnotoxic Laser and that Burbank, so that Toad was asleep and was poisoned, but Fernando managed to get out of the sleep, so that was pretty good. We see Fernando attach a DCE and gets this. Hits a 3 cards in Travis's hand, and that's going to set him back a lot. We see a Hypnotoxic Laser from Fernando's side as well, and he ends up getting the head, so that Sudowoodo is asleep. But I don't think it really matters because there's not much that Sudowoodo can do to get out of the situation that he's in. Because, there is a Zorora on the bench, so he can goose him out of there. We are going to see a Sycamore, and they're just going to scoop it up. Travis realizes that he's way behind. He can't really do much because he did get Toad locked, so that's pretty much the first match right there. So it's very interesting that Travis is running Sudowoodo. I guess he ran it because a lot of people were playing Zoroark Skyfield, and Zoroark Skyfield gets pretty scary in the mirror. So the Sudowoodo tech is really good on his part. So yeah, as we go through the match, we're gonna see some techs that Fernando was using, or if Fernando was just going with a basic straight build. But yeah. So we do get a Mulligan from Fernando's side. That's kind of unfortunate. It is going to set him back, but still gives him enough time to kind of recover from it. Travis will be going first, so there is no point of getting end. So he won't miss out from that extra draw. So we see that he opens up that Sudowoodo again, which is kind of unfortunate because now he has to work a little extra harder to get it out of there. And Fernando opens up 2 Seismitoads. So we are going to see an Ultra Ball from Travis's side. He's trying to figure out what he's going to discard, which is very important early in the game. And also, you kind of want to get rid of those items because you know you're going to get Toad locked anyway, so there's not much point to keep them in your hand. So we do see Travis go for a Toad of his own. It looks like there's no Bridget, so that's gonna kind of set up no Lele Bridget, which is kind of weird unless he already has the Lele in hand, but I doubt it that he won't initially go for that play to set up some Zororas. But yeah, also probably just not going for that play because he would also try to grab a Sudowoodo, but in this case there's not much point in doing that. So we do see this the Seismitoad. We are gonna see a Fighting Fury Belt and a Choice Band go down on there. Interesting that he's playing the Fighting Fury Belt. It kind of gives his Toad a little less oomph when it comes to attacking, but more HP, so it can take a couple more hits. So when you're doing the Toad exchange, your Toad kind of survives a little longer. So yeah, and that was very crucial for this tournament because it was pretty much everyone just Toad locking it themselves. So yeah, so we did see that Lele. He did go for an N. Gonna shuffle up Fernando's hand. He's gonna draw 16 cards, and so will Travis. Here we're gonna see Travis play 2 Puzzle Times to get back an Ultra Ball and possibly a Sycamore, because you kind of don't want to be stuck with the hand that you have. So we are gonna see that Ultra Ball and that Burbank. Discarding that Burbank and discarding that Sycamore. I kind of saw a glimpse at his hand. He does have a VS Seeker, so he will be getting back that Sycamore, so don't worry, guys. He's setting up that Zora so he can get Zoroark. So even though he's Toadlock, he can still get out of it with Zoroark. We're going to see this VS Seeker grab an N. And that will do it for him. So he's going to pass. So now it's Fernando's turn. Pretty much Fernando doesn't really have much to do. Like, he's just going to go on the offensive and just start locking his opponent. But Travis kind of put himself in a position where he can kind of get out of the Toadlock, which is really good. Oh, Secret Attack Plumeria from Fernando gets rid of that energy from the bench. That's actually really good, because what happens now is Travis has to play with only 3 DCs, which is really hard, and especially since you just got Toad Locked, there's no special charge, none of that. You're not gonna get any of that stuff back. So yeah, so that was very good on his part. We are gonna see Chorus. So he's going to chorus for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's interesting. There's not much he can do because of Toadlock. So that kind of sucks. We do see a Floatstone go on this Toad on Fernando's side. And we're probably just going to see 30 and pass. Oh, no. VS Seeker gets back a chorus. And he's going to play that chorus to draw 4. Luckily for Fernando, he still hasn't been Toad Locked, so he's still in a good position where he can use his items and not be affected by that. So we see Fernando drop down a Shaman. He's going to draw some cards from that, drops a Zora, knocks out that Sudowoodo, takes a prize. So here we see this other Toad come up. He does pick up that DC from top decking, which is really good. Now here's where it gets real upsetting, because now even though they're both gonna item lock each other, one's doing 40 and the other one's doing 30. So Fernando will fall behind on this Toad Lock unless he Ace Roller scoops it up, but he also has to get the Ace Roller in his hand, which is kind of unfortunate because right now he can't really play any really good play. He had a Guzma in hand, pulls up that Zoroark, and does 30 damage, and then item locks him, which is really good. It was very good on his behalf to drop that Floatstone early in the game when he had the chance. We're going to see that trade go into full effect. He does play the DC, but he chooses not to attack, and instead retreats to just continue the onslaught of item lock. We do see a Team Flare Grunt on Fernando's side, gets rid of that DC and item locks his opponent. We do see a Mallow come from Fernando's side. He's going to get 2 cards, put them on top of his deck, and then play the trade and grab those 2 cards, which is really good. It's really beneficial. It's a very beneficial card to be running in this deck. The only thing is, what will you pick up to kind of put your opponent behind so you can get ahead? And we do see him looking at that Team Flare Grunt, kind of to get some revenge for Team Flare running his own Toad. More than likely, we're going to see a DC Team Flare Grunt. So we see him getting rid of that Enhanced Hammer, which is utterly useless right now since they're both being Toad Locked. And we do see Fernando starting to get worried there. His Toad does have a lot of damage, and it's great, getting very close to a knockout. We do see him count his opponent's deck, which is really rare for someone to do so early in the game. Also looking at your opponent's deck, that it looks really stacked. There's not like, you can normally tell when there's like 10 or 4 cards, but in this scenario there's not 10 or 4 cards. There's a lot of cards there. I don't know what his technique was to count his opponent's deck, but he must have a reason for it. We do see that Team Flare Grunt from Travis's side gets rid of that DC. So now Fernando is kind of in a position where he has to kind of recover from that DC, which is the only DC that he's played this whole game. So it's kind of rough on him. So yeah, so we are going to see that N. They're both going to shuffle their hands and draw a new hand to see if they can get some very key cards. Travis is still at 6 prizes, and we have Fernando at 5. Fernando is already at leading this prize trade because of that Sudowoodo knockout. But his Iceman Toad is in a position where it's dangerously gonna be knocked out in the next couple of turns. Actually, let's see, 120, 160. Yeah, next turn it will be a knockout on that Toad. Um, Travis just has to attack, lock him, and then that'll be it for this Toad right there. We are seeing an explosive play by Travis. He is playing everything that he possibly can, just because he knows that the Toad Lock is coming. He does get a full Sycamore, discards nothing, and draws a nice 7 cards. As we can see, he has set up 2 more Zoroarks. Probably going to try to push for those other Zoroarks so he can keep going. And we do see another Toad with a Fighting Fury Belt, which I think the Fighting Fury Belt was very, very essential for Travis in this game. Travis still having a very explosive turn, trying to play as many things as he can, getting another Team Flare Grunt into his hand, preparing for later on. He is gonna play an Ultra Ball, probably gonna get an Execute. That's interesting, and that's actually very good. So he can kind of keep just his Zoroark trade going. Now we see Fernando look at his opponent's deck, and we see that it's getting very, very close. We do see another Plumeria from Fernando's side. So that means he was running 2, which is very, very awesome. Lots of people not using Plumeria, but in this case scenario, it's very good because you're getting rid of your opponent's energies, even if they're on the bench. But in this scenario, he's taking it off that active, which is really good. Looks like Fernando was playing more of a Disruption deck than a Toxic Laser deck, which is really good. So we are going to see a special charge, going to get those energies back into his deck. His deck running really low anyway, so as soon as we see a trade come out of that, more than likely he's going to hit that DC and just continue this onslaught. So we see discard Toad, trade, draws 2 cards, does not get a DC from that, so that's very unfortunate for him. We're gonna see what he decides. Oh, he does have more trades, so he can just keep going. So we're gonna see that egg trade. I think he picked up that rock guard, but still no DCE, which is very, very not cool. He does get a heads on that Hypnotoxic Laser. We are gonna see that rock guard go on that Zoroark. We're going to see an N. So they're both going to shuffle. Travis is going to draw 4 and Fernando's going to draw 5. We still haven't seen a Zoroark come out of Fernando's side, which is really weird. Like this into the match, like we should have at least seen 1, but that kind of has set back Fernando a lot. So we did see Travis top deck that DCE. We're gonna see Fernando wake up from this sleep. There we go with the Zoroark. So now we're looking. He's counting his opponent's deck. It makes me feel like he's running a Team Rocket's handiwork, which would be very interesting, and that would be an amazing way to win this match. So we see a trade. He does tap it, which kind of indicates that he already used it, which is really good on his side and his opponent's side to keep track of play, which is really good. It looks like he doesn't get... Oh, he does. He gets a DCE, he does Sky Return, and then drops down the Toad with the Floatstone and comes up with Shaman, which is really good. This is going to let him... so he wakes up. This is going to let him do a setup. So he's going to draw some cards from that Shaman. He's going to bring up that Toad. He's going to retreat that Toad, bring up the Zoroark with the energy. We might see a trade. Yeah, there's the trade. Draws 2 cards. Still no secondary Zoroark, which is kind of unfortunate. But this might be a knockout right here. I think it's enough. Oh, he's a little short. That's unfortunate. But still, that was a very great move on his part. Um, Travis can't really do much. He has that Toad up there. He's kind of stuck. The only thing he can do is kind of play a DCE, retreat it, but that's kind of wasting a turn. But it might help him in the end by saving this Seismitoad, unless he has an Acerola, which I haven't seen him play or discard. So we are going to see a trade. He's going to draw 2 cards. Getting really, really close to decking out. Does play an N, or does play Via Seeker, gets an N. Are we going to see another trade? Probably not. We're going to see a team Flare Grunt. So that's really good. That's going to set back Fernando, and we're going to see a Quaking Punch for 40. Fernando just has to get a DCE, which he's only played 2, I believe. Maybe 3 at most. No, 2 for sure. He's only played 2, so he's not behind. So we do see him discard that Floatstone and draws 2 cards. Fernando trying to figure out what to play, which he's kind of in a position where he kind of doesn't really know. He does drop an Acerola, picks up his Zoroark, does trade again, draws 2 cards. Still no DC. Oh, he does top deck the DC, retreats his Seismitoad, and knocks out that other Toad. What an amazing play. That's going to put him in a really, really great position. Travis does play that E-Hammer, gets rid of that DCE, and continues the onslaught of Quaking Punch. There we see another Zoroark, finally on Fernando's side. We do see Egg Trade, which is amazing. We're probably going to see another Egg Trade. Oh, another Zoroark. And we see another Egg Trade. And we're going to see one more Egg Trade. Oh, by this time, I'm pretty sure he has a DCA in hand. That was actually a very impressive move on Fernando's side, because now he was able to trade, get his Zoroark, trade again, get his other Zoroark, which is really good. So we're going to see a Guzma stall play here, which is very interesting. Travis getting really low on those items, or on his cards in his deck. So yeah. So pretty much Fernando just passes, gives Travis one last turn to play as much as he can. He is going to play an N, shuffle up his hand, and just draw 3 cards, or 4 cards, I believe. Which is going to leave his hand, or his deck, to like 1 card. 2 cards. So Fernando just has to pretty much survive 2 turns. And there it is, guys. I honestly didn't think it was going to end this way. I didn't see Fernando calculating, or not calculating, but expecting that his opponent would overextend when it came to drawing. And that's pretty much what cost Travis the game. He overextended. He was digging and digging and digging. Those Plumerias knocking his energy out. That really set Travis back. And he had to overextend with his draws. And that kind of cost him the game. A good shout out to Fernando for doing so well in the tournament. So yeah. With that said, guys, that's the end of our quarterfinals match. That's it for this. Don't forget to like and comment if you guys enjoyed it. Share the video just in case if anybody wants to see what the quarterfinals look like up in Bakersfield. With that said, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.